The day after the elections, the day after, when Wall Street should be cheering the guy that allowed the bailout, the stimulus, the buying of companies, the merger of corporate and state powers, numerous bailouts, Federal Reserve, print money out of control, Federal Reserve, $40 billion a month buyback, mortgage-backed securities. Wall Street, the Dow should go up 1,000 points today. And it's down over 300 points day after the election. Bank stocks are worse than terrible today. 4 and 5% drops on some of the bank stocks. Yes, my favorite Bank of America, yes. JP Morgan, yes. All the other scumbags, yes. But silver and gold's down today too. Like those guys? Barely any at all. Silver's barely down, 20-something cents last time I looked before I came out here. Dow's down over 300 points. Bank of America, Citigroup, JP Morgan, 4 and 5% drop in their stock value. How is that possible? The day after the guy that's been keeping things together for the last 4 years, market's been rallying, and then it would go down, then it would rally for no reason. Worse news, bad news, good news, it did not matter. The markets loved it. Now all of a sudden, he's guaranteed another 4 years. And the next day, the absolute next day after the elections, stock market starts to get the rug pulled out from under it. Slowly. You know, not a big job like, 1,000, 2,000 point drop, but pretty good size nonetheless. So let's see, how could that happen? Oh, I remember now. Alex Jones, Webster Tarpley, Gerald Celente, some other people, Max Kaiser, I believe also, said, well, we're already hearing that the EU's begging, telling us, hey, or not, or maybe it's vice versa. Barack Obama and friends, the U.S. telling them, hey, before you let Europe really fall apart, let's keep the markets together till after, let's work together, you guys and us, to keep things together, markets somewhat stable, till after the elections. That's what everyone's been saying, at least the stuff that I read and the people I listen to, like Gerald Celente, Max Kaiser, Alex Jones, Webster Tarpley, and a few others. So, if that's the case, and it is the case, this makes perfect sense. The day after, hey, let the markets go. And I mean, really, couldn't they wait a week or two or a month or something? Does it have to be the next day? Holy cow. Either way, now they can do whatever they want with the markets. There's no more elections. It's got 4 more years to go. They can do what they want again. They've got 4 years to do it. They want to let the markets die off now and rebuild, or they want to hold it together somehow for another 2 or 3, 4 years, somehow keep this crap going. United States, $22 trillion deficit, Eurozone, bankrupt, double bankrupt, triple bankrupt, austerity, and so they can somehow keep that going for 4 years more. And I gotta tell you, I don't see how they could do that over there, especially with places like Greece and now Spain with the rioting and stuff. The massive people who aren't employed and the massive people who took pay cuts that you could not imagine taking. Imagine waking up and being told you're taking a quarter. Your new pay rate is now a quarter of what you used to make. Have a nice day. That is not sustainable. It cannot last much longer. I do not see this going 4 years. No way. Not to mention, as a cult, as our leaders and their leaders, their minions and the minions above those guys, how much into the cult practices they are, considering that it's the end of the Mayan calendar, December 21st, 2012. Forget doom and gloom destruction. For any other reason, that date alone is going to be important to them. For occult purposes alone. So, are they going to try to destroy the markets and everything prior to that day or around that day? Start the new year with total wipeout and start over mode? I don't know. No idea. But, I mean, this is from the nonsense mainstream. New York. Stocks were trading sharply lower Wednesday, one day after the re-election of President Obama. In morning trading, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down more than 320 points, or more than 2.4%. The Dow's plunge puts it on track for its biggest one-day loss in a year. The index lost 389 points on November 9th, 2011 on Eurozone debt fears. Oh, so a whole year went by and there were no more Eurozone debt fears. Yet Spain came into the picture pretty earlier this year, which means it was after that biggest day drop. And now Spain's in deeper trouble. Greece is, of course, even more deeper trouble. They're about to vote. Matter of fact, it's today or tomorrow. I gotta catch up with some news here. They're supposed to be voting on this more austerity and privatizing, selling off the country's assets to the bankers. The same bankers who forced the loans on the people who didn't want the loans, couldn't afford the loans, but were told you're going to take this through their own politicians. Now the bankers are saying, well, you owe us something. We can tell you can't pay us money back. You know, money that we created on a printing press out of nothing to give to you short term so that we can buy all these real assets. We give you paper, phony money. We give you paper money we print. We got the only printer. No one else is allowed to print. We print it. We give it to you. You can't pay it back because what you use to pay it back, we also have to print. And you don't get that part. So you are going to have to give us something else. And that water department looks good. That electrical company looks pretty good. Public services utility, that looks good. We'll take that. That's what they're voting on this week. God help the Greek people. God help them. Matter of fact, let me change that. God help the politicians in Greece if they vote to go forward with that. I think Greece might finally blow up. And if it doesn't, then there's no doubt in my mind that the sheep level of people today are beyond what I even thought possible of being a sheep, and they're going to just sit there and roll over and take it. No thanks. Investor reaction is decidedly negative over the defeat of the more business-friendly Mitt Romney and the continued gridlock in Congress that makes it tough for lawmakers to avert a fiscal policy crisis by year-end. But it's been that way every year since 2008. The party lines have been the same they are now. Pro-friendly, pro-whatever, business-friendly Mitt Romney. Are you kidding? Pro-friendly Obama. He hooks all the businesses up. Ones that he chooses, of course. He's part of the club. The club loves this guy. Executive orders passed, bailouts passed, everything's passed. And well, we got to spin it so the news can make you think it makes sense. Yeah, okay. So, the benchmark Dow is trading below the psychological significant 13,000 level, lowest since August 3rd, and the Standard & Poor's 500 index and Nasdaq Composite Index were also down 2.5%, with stocks in nearly every industry lower. Wall Street pros, the pros, the experts, let's see what they got to say. Me, I'm no expert, I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me. Wall Street pros said much of the sell-off is coming from computerized trading programs. We do know that. That's where all of the action happens, and that's how the government moves the market, which trigger huge sell-offs of stocks when certain price levels are hit versus investors who are making decisions in the moment to sell. So, we went down past the psychological level. So the computer trading program saw, 13,000, that's a psychological level. Well, that's funny. Because it wasn't all that long ago, it's just a few months back, if that, it was over 13,000 and then came back below 13,000. I didn't see a massive sell-off. It went back up over 13 and 13.2, 13.4, back down. Why is this any different? This is just news to make you say, oh, that's why that's happening. Oh, now there's an explanation, because people need an explanation. So, this is the explanation that will satisfy most average individual people, aka the sheep population, which of course is 90-something% of us. There's a reason, okay, makes sense, I'm satisfied. It could say, well, pigs don't fly, and today we've got reports of pigs flying, which caused the Dow Jones to drop significantly. Oh, there's an answer, I'll be on my way, let me go back to my nonsense. That's a good, sufficient answer for me. Others said negative sentiment was amplified after European Central Bank President Mario Draghi expressed concerns ahead of U.S. market open about the outlook of Europe's economies, especially Germany. Really? They're all the same. They've been in the same boat. Nothing has changed. But today, maybe it was Draghi. No, maybe it was the 13,000, psychological level for the Dow. Maybe it was that. You know what? No, maybe it was pro-friendly business guy Mitt Romney not making it. That's probably what it was. So, well, there's three choices, man. Gosh, I'm so confused. Which one is it? I don't know. I already told you. It's all rigged. It's all a stage. The world is a stage. We're just playing. We're not even playing in it. We're the guy sitting back watching it. And unfortunately being dragged through it whether we like it or not. It's all rigged. It's all controlled. When it goes down, it's because they want it to go down. When the markets rise, it's because they want it to rise. They know the ultimate outcome is going to be debt destruction. The whole market, everything's going to be reset. Everything's going to deflate in value. Crash, big time. Sooner or later, whether that's 4 years from now that he's been reelected, or it's 2 years, or it's this year, before the end of the year, there's no telling. The fact that you see the CFTC position limit rules getting postponed, then all of a sudden they're ready to implement them, and a judge steps in. Nope, can't implement them yet. I don't see proof as to why you need to implement them, so until I see proof, we're not going forward with the position limit rules in silver and other commodities. So that got put on hold. So see, everything's getting put on hold. So if everything's getting put on hold, that means they're not ready for the collapse yet. Which also means, which didn't really change anything, but means that we don't know when it's going to happen. Could happen tomorrow, could happen next week, could happen at the end of the year, could happen next year. We might skate through next year the same way we skated through this year. There's no telling. One thing that is telling is that the national deficit will continue to grow out of control. The war crap in the Middle East will continue. The unfunded liabilities, Social Security, pensions, everything, that's going to continue. Therefore, the economy, etc., has to get worse, and they will continue to spin out of control until they are ready to pull the trigger. And once they're ready to pull the trigger, that's the time you're going to want to make sure, you should already be making sure now, but at the very latest, that's the time you're going to want to make sure you have precious metals on hand, because they will skyrocket. We may see the metals prices rising again. Again, last week, Friday, 192 million paper ounces sold on Wall Street in 10 minutes span, and only knocked it down $1.30 something. 2 days later, which was Tuesday, it already wiped all that off. It was back where it was. Are you kidding me? These guys are throwing extreme amounts of money to get that market down, silver and gold. And it keeps bouncing right back up. Bounce back up, raid, bounce back up, raid, bounce back up. And it's happening shorter. So I think we're getting close, near future for sure, to seeing some major serious volatility. Swings way up, swings way down, swings way up, etc. And it's nothing more than what's going to be a fight between them and the average person who's starting to wake up to buy some gold and silver. So that's all I got for you. Take care.